Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, it is going to be open warfare within the Nigerian political space come 2023. Have absolutely no doubts about that. The battle lines are being drawn and there will be tears before bedtime. Guys, I bring you this. APC zoning agreement should be respected in 2023. Now, who is saying this? A person that doesn't comment much on politics, but just gets on with his work. But this time, he's piping up to align himself with the position. So the headline is credited to Fashola, the Minister of Work and Housing. Again, the headline, APC's zoning agreement should be respected in 2023. A headline attributed to Fashola. So now let's now see what the SAN has to say. Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola has disclosed that there is a gentleman's agreement on zoning in the All Progressive Congress APC. The former governor of Lagos State, in an interactive session with newsmen at his ministry in Abuja on Tuesday, November the 24th, appealed to leaders of the party to respect the gentleman agreement reached in 2015 on zoning. So now here is what he has to say. This is his words now. Fashola said, first, let's talk about law. Let's talk about agreement. The law is the constitution. The constitution decides the age which you can contest certain offices, and there is nothing in the constitution that says zoning. All political parties are like clubs where you write agreement just like a social club, and we can decide that it is the youngest person who will be the chairman of the club, or we can decide that it is the oldest person or the next female or the male. That is the matter of agreement between people. But the constitution that sets up the climate of political party formation does not prescribe zoning. The truth is that what makes an agreement special is the honor in which it is made, not whether it is written. If it was written, there would be no court cases on a breach of contract, because it is a document that is written and signed that go to court. The private agreement you make with your brother and sister cannot be breached. It must be honored. On whether he has 2023 presidential or vice presidential ambition, the minister said, I belong to a party, the APC, and I am committed to good governance because I think the best politics is good governance. The beauty of it for me is the opportunity it gives to impact people's lives. We have elections only once in 4 years, but we have a responsibility to provide good governance every day, and that's the culture. Fashola also expressed hope of APC retaining the presidency in 2023 if it delivered on its campaign promises to Nigerians. He added, to retain power in 2023, certainly if we keep our promises, is that simple. That is politics. If you do what you said you will do, even if you don't do it 100%, and they see that you are making progress, they will even want you to finish what you started. Our opposition has to think well than us to defeat us. Right now, they are not doing that. When it's election time, they should come and meet us. So this is now Fashola's wordings. So we have to obviously unpick this, because these are coded words, and there are several stanzas right from altruism to self-interest, all encompassed in this now statement that he has made. So let us unpick that. So the first thing that he is saying is that there's a zoning agreement, a zoning arrangement within the APC. So as I said, Fashola is not one that comes out very quickly in the papers to speak, or in the public space to speak to politics. He tends to speak to his work mainly, but this time around he is speaking to politics, because the drumbeat of 2023 is beating ever more fervently, and positions are now being taken, and he now has to align himself to a position. So the first thing that has to be secured, of course, is that presidency must come south come 2023. That is irrefutable, non-negotiable, and there is no move. There's not a pinhead of a movement on that. This is a categorical position that has to be adopted uniformly by the southern regions. So that position must be firmed up and must be defended. So now within that position, now there are subsects as well. The Igbos, of course, are pushing themselves forward that no, now it has to be our turn now, because enough is enough. You people have been passing it amongst each other, and now it should now certainly be our turn. But then, of course, the Tinubu angle can never be discounted come 2023, in the build-up to 2023, because Tinubu has been gunning for that position effectively since 1999, and he has pushed and pulled and bribed and stolen and even yamutu'd people. He has done all that he has the capacity to do to propel himself into a position where he can take that seat. So now in 2015, the ticket was meant to be Tinubu and Buhari, or should that be Buhari and Tinubu? So the ticket was meant to be those two, but the clamoring was such that the country cannot have a Muslim ticket, Tinubu being a Muslim and Buhari, of course, being a Muslim, that it was then agreed that Tinubu will step aside, but he would then anoint a vice president to run with Buhari. He will anoint rather a running mate to run with Buhari as his vice presidential running mate. So that was the thing then, which then led, of course, to Osinbajo being appointed. You recall that Osinbajo was the Minister of Justice under the Tinubu governorship from 1999, I think, till 2007. So that was the agreement then. But Tinubu's ambition, of course, is always to that Aso Rock seat. Because if you look at Tinubu now, he has nothing else in life to push for other than that seat. Tinubu cannot go and be a minister now. That is a step down for him. He has been a two-time governor of Lagos State. Tinubu is probably the wealthiest man in Nigeria as it stands now, at least one of the top 10. I think we can all comfortably say that. So Tinubu is a supremely, superbly, and disgustingly wealthy man. So, I mean, how much more money can he chase? So the only thing left for him in terms of an ambition is that Aso Rock seat. There's nothing else really that is his life's purpose other than that seat. And he wants that seat, one, for the fulfillment, and two, because he feels that he can actually do something for the country. We all know him for corruption, but within him, he feels that he has something within himself that can lead to the betterment of that country. So the ambition is there. And if you now look at a lot of the people that surround the corridors of power, their acolytes, their agents, their fans, and pretty much boys of Tinubu. The vice president, Fashola, that is speaking, Fashola, what's even that one, the grass cutter, I can't remember his name. It was the secretary to the federal government that was sacked for, I'll remember his name later, and if you remember it, then please drop it in the comment section. So a lot of the people that surround the corridors of power are Tinubu's men, but then a lot of people agitating against Tinubu, they are also powerful, and some of them have had ambitions almost as long as Tinubu. Because if we take El Rufai as an instance, El Rufai was actually meant to succeed Obasanjo as the president of Nigeria then in 2007. He was meant to run along with maybe it was Tunde Bakare or somebody else. He was meant to be the president to succeed Obasanjo, but then he overplayed his hand at that time because he was being pushed and a lot of people were propelling him, but he was showing off a little bit too much and acting as though he needed that much more persuading. And before he knew it, the interest had turned to Yadua, and he has been kicking his heels ever since, that he has missed that window of opportunity to have been the Nigerian president in 2007. So that ambition now continues to burn because he has now had all of that period to reflect on what he could have done and all of the opportunities that could have presented itself had he been clever enough or toned down his ignorance enough to take that opportunity when it came. So he still has that ambition as well. And like Tinubu, El-Rufai also understands that this 2023 now is the last window of opportunity for him to ever be the Nigerian president, because the next Nigerian president, when he has served 8 years, the color of the country would have completely changed, the demography would have changed, the world would have changed, and these people would have gotten to that age. I think El-Rufai is a man in his mid-60s thereabout now, and Tinubu is in his late 60s, clocking on 70 if it's not 70 already. So the window of opportunity will no longer be there if another person steps in to run for another 8 years. And then of course we have these new now found politicians, the likes of Abubakar Malami, who are also trying to position themselves for whatever opportunity presents itself. The North are agitating that the power must stay with them, and the South are agitating that the power must come back. So it is that power coming back that has propelled now Fashola to come out into the public space to come and make this statement, and also a sense of loyalty to his boss, because of course, make no mistake, Buhari is not Fashola's boss. Fashola's boss is Tinubu. Fashola owes everything to Tinubu, and Tinubu made him. Tinubu made him is a commissioner. He made him a functionary within his government. He made him the governor of Lagos state, and he made him a super minister within the Buhari structure. So that sense of loyalty is there. So that is what he's speaking to. But there's a second stanza to this comment now that Fashola has made, because we have to go through everything. There's a second stanza to it, because he was then asked in a second question that does he have ambitions towards the presidency or the vice presidency, and he left his options opened in a nondescript, very vague answer that he gave to that one. That's the constitution, So what he's saying in effect is that he does have ambitions still within politics. He did confess that, and that ambition within politics, of course, is not to continue to be a minister, which he has been now for going on. So a step up from being a minister then is to have a seat at Aso Rock. So that seat at Aso Rock, there are only 2 seats in Aso Rock. There is the first seat and the second seat. So now the first seat, he is ceding to Tinubu, but he's not discounting himself. And you have to also factor what's his name, Oshibanjo, as well, because he would have seen what the power is within that space, and he would not be a man of ambition if he did not have ambition in that direction. So he has not discounted himself, because every other name is also in the mix, Fashola, Fayemi, etc. So his loyalty is to Tinubu. The second thing is, if that power is retained within the North, that doesn't then dull, never mind extinguish Fashola's ambitions. So he still has ambitions in that direction and is willing to settle for the second seat in Aso Rock. So he's keeping himself in the mix, but his first push is to have that power come to the southern region. So that is the non-negotiable position, but a non-negotiable position is in itself and by its nature a position of negotiation, because of course if you have something countering your position and you stay steadfast, that in itself is a negotiating position. So all of the mix are coming out now, to the point that Fashola has now felt the need to pipe out, and this is my reading of what he has to say. But what is your reading is what I am more interested in. So come share your thoughts with me in the comment section. But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well, because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. So click on subscribe, the bell button, and like. Once you've done all the clickings, come join me then in the comment section. Come tell me what you're making of how Fashola is positioning himself. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section. But here I say peace.